Understanding consumer behavior. Profits from customer relationship guide the destiny of the organization. Though the basic objective of any business is profit maximization through customer satisfaction, it is easier said than done. This is because consumers' need evolution is a dynamic process, and what a consumer states as a need or want may not guide him to make the expected purchase decisions. In this lesson, we are going to study secrets of consumer behavior, buying behavior, consumer decision-making process. It follows from the previous slide that after studying this lesson, you should be able to describe consumer behavior, analyze different types of buying motives, know the different kinds of buying roles that a person assumes, analyze the 7 O's framework, classify buying behavior, analyze consumer decision process, analyze factors influencing consumer behavior, understand the difference between industrial and consumer markets. Consumer behavior is defined as a process and physical activity individuals engage in when evaluating, acquiring, using, or disposing of goods and services. It refers to the behavior that consumers display in searching for, purchasing, using, evaluating, and disposing of products and services that they expect will satisfy their needs. Consumers can be different in age, income, and occupation. The items to be consumed can be of any form, from a product to a service, a concept or an idea. The needs and desires to be satisfied range from basic needs like hunger, thirst, psychogenic needs like love, care, and even higher order fulfillment. In a consumer-oriented marketing model, consumer is a king and a marketer should understand the needs, wants, buying motives, and feelings of his potential customer to be successful in his marketing efforts. Consumers have different kind of needs and they do not pursue all their needs at all point of time. Inherent buying motives are those which raise from basic needs of consumers such as sex, comfort, and safety. These are more instinctive in nature and influence the consumer the maximum. In order to satisfy these motives, a consumer has to make his best efforts. If these motives remain unsatisfied, he is under tension. The satisfaction of these needs also happen very fast and they recede in a way as they started within the consumer. Learned motives are those motives which a consumer acquires or learns from the environment in which he lives, or from his learning as he grows up in the society. These motives are social status, social acceptance, economic, political achievement, fear, and security. Emotional buying motives are those which are affected by consumers' feelings and are often judged by using feelings or affective part of consumers' attitude. In such motives, the heart dominates over the head and mind. Sometimes in satisfying these needs, man is not rational. The motives are hunger, thirst, ego, prestige, comfort, pleasure, love, and affection. Rational buying motives are those motives where a consumer is rational and his decision is based on logic and justification while taking buying decisions. In this case, mind dominates over the heart. Over making any purchase, he satisfies himself with the price, quality, durability, reliability, and service, and then decides to purchase the goods, which are useful to him and are available at a reasonable price. There are the 8 different roles played by people in the consumer decision process. The initiator is a person who first suggests or thinks of an idea of buying the particular product. The child plays the role of an initiator in purchase process of a chocolate. The influencer is a person who explicitly or implicitly has more influence on final buying decisions of others. The mother plays the role of an influencer in the purchase process of a chocolate. The gatekeeper is a person who allows certain information to flow and restricts flow of some set of information. Parents play the role of a gatekeeper in selection of television channels for children. The decider is a person who ultimately determines any part or the whole of the decision process. That is, whether to buy and what to buy, how to buy, when to buy or where to buy. In the event of buying a mutual fund product, the individual or head of the family plays the role of the decider. The buyer is the person who actually purchases and pays for the purchase. In a typical family decision process, father plays the role of buyer, who is involved in the economic transaction process. The user is the person who actually uses or consumes the service or products. In most of the grocery product purchase, the whole family uses the product. In a typical purchase of washing machine, the housewife plays the role of the user. The preparer is a person who converts the product to usable form for consumption. For example, in a typical family consumption of food items, mother plays the role of a preparer. Maintainers are members who service or repair the product so that it will provide continued satisfaction is a maintainer. The disposer is the person who finally disposes the package of the product. For example, mother plays the role of a disposer after the product is consumed by the family. The marketer's task is to study the buying process and the role of participants in the buying process. He should initiate all of them to make purchases of his product at different stages and through different strategies. A framework is developed to understand consumer behavior by addressing various issues involved in consumer behavior. This framework is popularly known as 7 O's framework and is used for basic understanding of consumer behavior. Who is the consumer? Answer to this question helps the consumer behavior student to understand consumer geographic, demographic and psychographic and mediographic profiles. A study of demographic profile of fruity drinkers revealed that only 5 to 12 years age group drinks fruity. Teenagers, the biggest market for soft drinks, didn't drink fruity because they found it too kiddish. Hence, the Digain Verma campaign was launched for relaunching fruity as a cool drink for cool dudes. The advertisement also shows the typical psychographic profile of today's teenagers, using their language and talking about their interests like careers, computers, etc. What does the consumer buy? Answer to this question explains what product proposition the consumer is buying. The answer is in terms of product forms and brands. What are the features, sizes, colors, flavors, etc. that the consumer seeks? Why is a consumer buying? This answers the question why of buying and explains the benefit the consumer expects the product or service to serve. This also explains what benefit the consumer is seeking. What motives is he trying to satisfy? Example, Fair and Lovely caters to a very strong motive of women based on the desire to look fair. In a country obsessed with fair skin, consumers today are also looking for sun protection in their cream. When do they buy or how often do they buy and use? This explains the buying rate or buying frequency of consumers and the occasions on which they would buy the product or services for the desired benefits. Example, big ticket items like refrigerators, air conditioners are bought during Diwali. Where do they buy? The answer to this question explains the type and nature of outlet from where the customer makes a choice. The type of outlet can be a retail shop, grocery store, and a wholesaler's shop. The nature of outlet also includes urban outlets, shopping malls or rural shops. For example, do consumers buy soaps from grocery and general store or more from chemists? How do they buy? This explains what kind of background information do consumers collect before buying and from whom do they seek this information. For example, buying a car, the consumer collects a lot of background information from friends and does a lot of deliberation before buying. Also, when he enters a dealer's showroom, he asks the dealer or salesman many questions. Who's involved? This explains the organization of information sources around the key players in the decision process. It describes the various roles played by people in the purchase process. Different consumers follow different steps in making their choice of product and services. Though it is difficult to generalize all purchase processes, but fair approximation and generalization can be made for most of the consumer's decision process. Customers show dissonance reducing buying behavior when involvement of the customer in the purchase activity is high, and customers cannot find a substantial differentiation among the alternatives. The consumer is highly involved and sees little difference among brand alternatives. Complex buying behavior is a case consumer is highly involved in situations very similar to the first of dissonance reducing is a case consumer is highly involved in situations very similar to the first case of dissonance reducing buying behavior, but he finds a substantial difference among the available brands. In this case, the buyer develops beliefs about the product or service. Then he develops a set of attitude towards the product, and finally he makes a deliberate choice. This is a case when products are expensive, bought infrequently, risky and highly self-expressive. Variety-seeking buying behavior is a kind of behavior shown in situations where the consumer shows low involvement behavior, but there is a significant brand difference. Consumers show a high level of brand switching behavior. A good number of marketing-oriented companies spend huge amount of money in understanding the consumer learning process about brands and services and how consumers choose brands, use the brands, and form opinion about the brands and brand-related experiences. The stimulus response model of consumer decision making model is also known as input processing output model. The consumer decision process is a series of activities and steps of decision making leading to a purchase function. It represents problem solving approach. This is the simplest model to explain the consumer decision making process. The mechanism is the same as in processing activity, in which there are three main factors, namely inputs, processing and outputs. The input in the form of product, price, place and promotion part of a marketing program are fed into consumer information processing box called black box, and it leads to a set of outputs. For certain product category, the consumer takes his buying decision immediately without much consideration. These are items of daily consumption. When consumers buy products and services without much consideration, they tend to show impulse buying behavior. For some other product categories, mainly luxury or durable item, the consumer thinks carefully before taking a decision to purchase them. Sometimes the consumer may also consult others. Generally, the purchaser passes through 5 distinct stages, namely need or problem recognition, information search, alternative evaluation, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Consumer behavior is affected by a host of variables, ranging from psychological factors like personal motivations, needs, attitudes and values, personality, characteristics, socio-economic and cultural background, demographic variables like age, gender, professional status, social influences of various kinds exerted by family, friends, colleagues and society as a whole, and broader cultural factors. The combination of these variables has a deeper impact on each one of us, as manifested in our different behavior as consumers. This is shown through the figure on the screen. Let us check if we have understood the various concepts discussed in this lesson clearly. Buying motive is the reason why a person buys a specific product or make purchases from a specific firm. Psychological needs are the innate needs. Motivator is a group or person that serves as a point of comparison. Before we end, let us briefly revise what we've studied till so far. Consumer behavior is the study of why, how, what, where, and how often do consumers buy and consume different product and services. It tries to understand the process followed by consumer in making product and brand choices. Knowledge of consumer behavior is helpful to the marketing manager in understanding the needs of different consumer segments and developing appropriate marketing strategies for each segment. The study of consumer behavior also provides an insight into how consumers arrive at the purchase decision and what are the key variables influencing the decision process. The consumers follow a decision process characterized by a problem recognition, information search, alternative evaluation, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Consumers also play various roles in the purchase process, namely the role of an initiator, influencer, gatekeeper, decider, buyer, user, preparer, maintainer, and disposer in context of a purchase decision. The behavioral patterns shown by consumers in different product choice situations can be classified as routinized purchase behavior, complex purchase behavior, dissonance reducing buying behavior, and variety seeking buying behavior. An individual consumer's decision to purchase a product is influenced by a number of variables, which can be classified into 4 categories, namely cultural, social, personal, and psychological factors. Cultural factors have a broad consumption context through which the consumer learns the significance of consumption. Subculture, social class, nationality, and religion are some of the cultural issues influencing the decision-making process. The social factors include family, reference groups, roles, and status of individual customers in influencing his consumption behavior. Consumers differ from one another in terms of their age, sex, education, income, family life cycle stage, personality and lifestyle, and other personal characteristics which influence their buying behavior. The needs of elderly consumers are different from those of young consumers. Newly married couples have needs which are totally different from older retired married couples. Understanding the consumer behavior of the target market is the essential task of marketing managers. Consumers differ fundamentally in income, education level, taste, and age. In the past, marketers had close and direct contact with consumers, which enabled them to understand consumers. But the growth in the size of the firms and markets has made it impossible on part of the marketer to have such a close contact. This necessitates that the present-day marketing manager conduct consumer research to have an idea about buying of consumer. Consumer is the king around whom the entire system of marketing revolves. If anybody makes the marketing program ignoring the consumer preferences, he probably will not achieve his ultimate objective. Therefore, the marketer must know more and more about the consumer so that the products can be produced in such a fashion as to give satisfaction to them. The government also plays a vital role in protecting the interest and rights of consumers.